Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar on how to access VMware support. So yeah, I'm the VMware Business Manager at Ingram Micro. So my name is Brendan and presenting this webinar is Jeff, the Ingram Micro VMware Pre-Sales Solutions Architect. Yeah, just to clarify, VMware built Broadcom class and end user as commercial, corporate or strategic. So Ingram Micro is currently providing post-sale support for some VMware products and customers. That is, Ingram Micro is providing level 1 and level 2 support to commercial end users only. And so this webinar will outline that info, and Jeff will also run a demo on how to lodge a support case. So any questions that are not answered in this webinar, just please put that in the question box and we'll look to answer it. On that note, I'll hand over to Jeff, and thanks again for attending. Thanks.
Thanks, Brendan. Hi, I'm Jeff Porter, VMware Solution Architect at Ingram Micro Australia. As Brendan said, since the Broadcom acquisition, what they have done is outsourced their level 1 and level 2 support and some other support to the distributors. So this is there's been a few issues, and hopefully this will clear up any questions you have about how to use the support via Ingram. I'll just clear that. Okay. So what we will discuss is the structure of the support by Ingram, what's required to access and to log a case management, how to open and escalate the tickets, and then I'll do a demonstration and any questions after. So the Broadcom structure. So the first thing that you need to know is that all support issues are to be placed through the Broadcom support portal. And any routing that is required to the appropriate support entity will be done automatically behind the scenes. So this should have been all transparent when it was put into place, but unfortunately it didn't go quite as smoothly as Broadcom hoped, so this is why we're running this webinar. So as Brendan mentioned, Broadcom have 3 types of customers. They have strategic, corporate, and commercial. And Ingram tends to look after mainly the commercial ones. But they also have 4 levels of support. So the first one they have is level 0, or what they call entitlement. Now this is performed by Broadcom only, and it's for non-technical and non-VMware issues. It's for something like if you can't access the portal, or you can't see the licenses that you've got, or your issues, so entitlements, your upgrades and things like that. That is handled by Broadcom, and unfortunately, Ingram hasn't got any say over the Broadcom portal, so Broadcom perform it all, and I'll show you how you can actually contact Broadcom to get those things sorted out. The second and third level, level 1 and level 2, what Broadcom call initial and advanced. These are performed by Ingram Micro, or the distributor, and in this case Ingram, and we mainly deal with the commercial end users. There are a couple of exceptions where we do look after strategic, but basically commercial is done by the distributor, and the corporate or enterprise, whatever you want to call them, and the strategic are performed by Broadcom support. The fourth level, which is what they call level 3, is for complex or code-related bugs, and these are performed by Broadcom. However, level 3 engineering, Broadcom engineering, is contacted by Ingram Micro. Ingram will manage those calls and be the middle person between Broadcom and the customer. In saying that, if you require something like a video conference, Ingram will arrange that video conference and you can talk to Broadcom directly. But on the whole, we will manage the case and we will talk to Broadcom and the customer. But one thing that needs to be noted is if you do need to escalate something to level 3, you must upload the logs, the core dumps, all the config files before it gets escalated. We've had cases where this hasn't been done and Broadcom have refused to accept the escalation until all those things are done. So all those files have been uploaded. So if you need a level 3 or priority 1 call sort of thing, or it is a code or a bug or complex, then make sure that you have the logs, the core dumps, and the config files uploaded to the ticket so that we can escalate it to Broadcom. The level 2 guys will probably ask you for those files anyway, but it's a good idea to have them all ready. So the customers, as Brendan said, we have strategic customers, corporate and commercial. The strategic customers are usually deal directly with Broadcom. They'll buy the licenses directly from Broadcom and the support is handled by Broadcom. However, and this is one of those exceptions that I had asterisked there, if the strategic customer, which is usually someone like government or education or health, something like that, if they wish to buy through a reseller or distributor, then which they can do, if they do that and it is a non-VCF product, in this case VVF, VMware vSphere Foundation product. So if it's a VVF and it's purchased through a distributor, then the support will come through the distributor, in this case Ingram. So on the whole, they will deal directly with Broadcom for both purchasing and licenses, support, sorry. But if they buy a VVF or a non-VCF product through a distributor, then the distributor will look after that account, that support. With corporate customers or enterprise customers, no changes. It's exactly as it was in the pre-Broadcom era. So they go directly to Broadcom and everything is handled by Broadcom. The distributor doesn't get involved at all. So commercial customers, it's kind of the opposite of strategic, if you like. Usually it's bought, licenses are bought through a reseller or a distributor, and the support is performed by the distributor. But there is an exception, and this is if there is a VCF license, a VMware Cloud Foundation license involved. If a VCF license is purchased and it's on a separate quote, that product will be handled directly by Broadcom, whereas all the non-VCF products, which would be on another quote, could be on another quote, will be handled by the distributor. So any VCF licenses, the support is always handled by Broadcom. And if there are separate, so if it's on a separate quote, that quote will be handled by Broadcom. If the non-VCF products on another quote will be handled by Ingram. However, and this is the additional note, if that is a combined quote which has a VCF product on it, even if it's got non-VCF products on the same quote, all products on that quote, on that combined quote, will be handled by Broadcom. So the rule of thumb is, and this goes for the strategic as well as, this for anything actually, if it's a VCF license, the support is handled by Broadcom, full stop. Okay. And in this case, if there are non-VCF products involved, they also, on the same quote as the VCF product, I should say, then they also will be handled by Broadcom. Otherwise, those non-VCF products, which are on a separate quote, will be handled by the distributor. Requirements. Okay, so there's several things that need to be done or be done when you want support. The first is you need Broadcom portal access. The second thing is that you need to create a end user profile, the end user being the owners of the license, not the managed service provider who's managing the end user, but the end user, whoever owns the license needs to create an end user company profile. Now, getting Broadcom portal access and getting the profile accepted takes time. It needs approval. Broadcom will tell you on their website that it takes 2 days or 48 hours. I've seen it take up to 2 weeks. So my suggestion to you is set up your account well before you need it, because there's no point in trying to log a support call if you haven't got portal access or you haven't been approved, your profile's not set up, and you want support. So get it done now, have it sitting there so that you can log your calls, because it does take time. So what's required when you're creating support, when you're creating the account? First of all, you need a personal corporate email address, and that email address must match the name of the company. So in my case, Jeff Porter at ingrammicro.com, and the support is for Ingram. So Joe Blow at acme.com works for the company Acme. The domain name of the email address must match the company name, or the domain name of the company. A non-negotiable restriction is that no generic email accounts are permitted, such as support at acme.com. It must be a user name, Joe Blow, Jeff Porter, at company name. They will not accept support or any generic name such as that, and that is non-negotiable by Broadcom. The other thing that they will not accept is any cloud addresses, such as Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. Okay, the name must be a corporate name, such as Ingram.com or Acme.com, company.com. So once you've created your account like that, you then have to build a profile. So, and I'll show you how to do this in the demo, but you go through and there'll be a whole lot of services that you can select. Now, as I said earlier, these take time to get approved, so make sure that you get it done early. The other thing that I want is the corporate site ID, and this is absolutely essential. Broadcom base everything around a site ID. So any entitlements. So if you go into the portal, you've got it there, you can't see any licenses or any entitlements. It's probably because you don't have a site ID registered. Now, this site ID is found in the contract email that was sent when you first joined Broadcom. And it comes from a user named ERPprod Broadcom with that email address. And it's under a section called Your Account Information. And there'll be a site ID for each of the named users in that contract. There'll probably only be 1 or 2, but there may be more. So that is absolutely required before you can access the support portal. If you don't have a site ID, when you are building your profile, there will be a button there saying, you know, find your site ID or need a site ID or something like that. So it'll be there on the profile page, and you click that and it'll take you through, excuse me, to the appropriate, or help you get the site ID. It'll send an email off or a request or something. I'm not sure how it is. The other thing is you can go to the chat assistant on the support page and ask them, and they will help you. And you can also call the global customer assistance. Now, this stuff is the level 0 entitlement level of support. It is Broadcom only. Unfortunately, Ingram, other than what we're suggesting here right now, cannot help you get this information. So you need to contact Broadcom, go through one of those methods of the profile page, the chat assistance, or the global assistance phone number, and ask Broadcom to help you. once that's all set up, then the support will come through to us. So you've created your account, you've put in your site ID and created your profile. When your first site access is requested for that site ID, so the very first person to register that site ID with Broadcom, and it's approved, that requester will automatically be granted the user admin and product administrator role. So they will become the administrator for that profile that's been configured, or super user, whatever you want to call them, depending on your flavor. Now, often this is done by a manager, but the manager isn't the person who usually creates the tickets for technical issues. So make sure that they add in anybody who is going to open cases or manage the calls, the tickets. They can add the users by invitation. They can give them, privileges and everything like that. Excuse me a second. The other thing I will note is that if you are a managed service provider, because these profiles are created by the end user, the license holder, if you're a managed service provider providing support for that end user, they will need to add one of your resources as a contact in their profile. We've had instances where managed service providers want to open support, but they haven't got access to that profile. So you must get the end user to add one of your managed service provider resources in to be able to manage their cases. Okay, so case management, case creation. As I said, all cases are open via the portal. So you'll need, and it's available via the partner dashboard or the support page. That and there's just go to support.broadcom.com. And I'll demonstrate this at the end there. So when you go to it and you create a case, you'll get a form that looks similar to this. Now, this relies on the entitlements that you will see in the partner portal, or in the partner portal, basically. So when you go to the partner portal, there will be all these entitlements which are related to the site ID. These pull-down box in the product will be populated from that entitlement page in the dashboard. So you fill out these details here, put in a description, and hit submit. Now, there are service levels, response times for each level of ticket. So one thing that I recommend is that on the right-hand side here, there are some knowledge base articles. You can limit them down to something that's relevant, like vSAN or, I don't know, ESX, whatever you like, type it in the search there, and it'll give you all the relevant knowledge base articles that are available for that product. I recommend that you go through those first. See if there's an article that suits your or matches your issue, because by the time you've created the case and got response, you may have found a solution already. So that's just a nice little self-service thing there for cases. But otherwise, fill in this form and hit submit. Once you've created, so once you get into the page, you go create case and it'll pop up this thing. Now, if you are unhappy with your support that you're getting, which of course you won't be, hopefully, you can escalate these via the ticket, all right? Unfortunately, there is no support phone number at this stage. So currently no support phone number that you can ring up and say, I haven't had any response within a certain time, I'd like it escalated, etc. It all has to be done at this stage through the ticket. So once you're in the ticket, you'll have this toolbar here, and this button here is called the Raise Concern button. By clicking that, that will send an email to the Service Delivery Manager, and you can fill in a form to say what the issue is, and they'll get escalated that way. Make sure you don't hit the Close Case button. That will really cause problems. Oops. Okay, so now one caveat for this Raise Concern button. I mentioned that there are service level response times for each priority or severity. If you are if you hit that button while it is still within that response time, you may not get a response from the escalation manager. So be patient. It might be a day if you're raising a priority 4, it might be 24 hours or something, or 8 hours, whatever, before your the response time is met. And if you click on that button within 4 hours and it's still within that period, you won't get a response. You may not get a response, I should say. The other thing is, this button is not used to raise the severity or the priority of a ticket. You can do that, and I'll show you that in a minute, and that is done within the ticket, but don't use this button. Once you've raised the concern using that button, if you still haven't got a response or are unsatisfied, you can send an email to VMware case concern at ingrammicro.com. Okay, that will send an email to some management, and if you put in the case ID, which is essential, so we know what you're talking about, which ticket to look at, and a summary of the request escalation request, I should say, then yes, that's your second line of attack if you are unsatisfied. And as a last resort, if you still haven't got satisfactory response from that, you can contact your Ingram Micro Relationship Manager or your BDM or your sales rep, whatever, and provide the case ID and the summary of it, and we'll see what we can do to get it escalated within support. That's the last resort. So please try the Raise Concern button first, and then the VMware Case Concern, and then your BDM or whoever. Okay, if you wish to change the severity of the case, you can do that within the summary section of the ticket. Here's that Raise Concern button over here. The priority button is here. It's an editable field, so just change that. That will send an email off. I also recommend that what you do is you send an email with replying to the case email or ticket that you received when you opened the case, saying that you would like the priority raised. So change it in the summary field here, and also send an email. This has also been documented at that website there, and I'll show you how to get to this document, this VMware Support Resource Guide, which basically summarizes what I have just gone through then. So I'll just give a quick demonstration of accessing the portal. So you come to the portal here, you go to VMware down here, and I hope I've got my thing set up properly. I have, good. All right, I'll log in. Okay, so this will take you through to the partner portal. Go to the dashboard login. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the site ID I am using doesn't have any entitlements, any licenses associated with it. I'm using a corporate one, so it's not, doesn't work. So under my entitlements here, unfortunately, I do not have any licenses or entitlements available. So when I show you the form, I won't be able to pull it down. But anything that any entitlements that you have there will be passed and into the form for opening a case. So to open a case from the Broadcom this dashboard, you go to My Cases here. Now, VMware or Broadcom use the Vulkan system to track all their support cases. And you will come up with this dashboard here. And this will give you, a summary of all the cases, etc. So you go to create a case here, and here's that form that I was telling you about. So under these, this should have any products that are under my entitlements dashboard. You can also open non-technical issues here, and you can see that now that I do have some here, and you can go like select the appropriate thing, product releases, severity, put in the subject, the company name, which hopefully will be filled up with pre-filled for you, the component which is related to the product, and the description, etc. And then you go submit. Here's the knowledge base that I was talking about. So if I type in vSAN, it will filter on vSAN articles only. And good idea, as I say, to go through those first before you actually log a call. So when you have filled that in, sent it off, you will get a ticket from Ingram support with a case ticket number, and always try and respond to those tickets, to those emails, so that we can track it when it gets put into the Vulkan portal. Okay, the second way of, well, I'll just come back to this. So I said talk about the profile earlier. If you come under here, you can see manage my profile. Actually, that's not the one I wanted. I'll have to come over here. So come here to the portal, go to my profile, and here you can see build your profile. Now, this is where you select the services that you want access to. There will also be, and because I've already done it, I haven't got it, but there will be something saying, asking you for your site ID, which you'll fill in, and then there should be a button saying, can't find your site ID, click here, and it'll help you out. Now, these things, as I said, these are level 0 stuff, or entitlement support level stuff. This will go for Broadcom. So Broadcom has to deal with all this, and there are lead times for it. So get it done well and truly before you want to do it. But you follow that and answer the questions, and it'll get approved. And once you're approved, you can have access. Okay. The other way of getting there is to go directly to the support page. The easiest way is to come down here and go to contact us. Click on it. Go to Broadcom support and contact support. Or Broadcom software, sorry, and go to support. Now this will take you to the support page, which is quite a good page. It's got blogs here, information. It's got technical documentation and knowledge-based articles. So if you want to do your self-service, go through those, and I recommend that you do. Over here on the right-hand side, it's got case management. So you can get, if you look at these buttons here, you can see that in this box here, it tells you the response time for each severity level that they have. Now, you go to open case, and once again, that will take you to the Vulkan system where you get that support page. One thing I will note is that here it says utilize online case management for severity level 2 to 4, and click here for support. ignore that, because this is for Broadcom support. Those things, non-VM support, I should say, non-technical support. So if you click on this level 1 thing, it'll take you down to the bottom of the page where there are all these phone numbers, Asia Pacific, etc. Now this is for Broadcom Australia. If you ring those numbers saying that you want to log a VMware call, they will refer you to Ingram. And as I said, we do not have a phone number at this stage. So these are for the level 0 stuff. If you've got portal issues, if you've got licensing issues, entitlement issues, non-VMware, non-technical issues, this is great. Okay, same with this number over here. They're for Broadcom issues. Now, under here, contact product support, partner support, this does have something for, this is a Broadcom blog, and it does actually have Ingram Micro here. And if you click on this, it'll take you to a Xvantage or Ingram Xvantage page, which is a work in progress, but we'll. Now, if you come down the bottom of this page, you'll see here it says getting support. That support ticket, I don't know why, it doesn't do much for me, so I'll go through the process that I've just showed you, the procedure that I just showed you. However, one thing that I will recommend is you read the support resource guide. And this is basically a cheat sheet of everything I've already covered in this session. So it shows you how to obtain support, how to register for the portal, contact the support team, non-technical issues, etc., technical support, severity levels, and a quick run through of how to escalate the thing. So it's basically everything I've covered is available there. So, and I think that that is basically everything that I wanted to show you in this demonstration. Oh, go back here, Jeff. Sorry, I'll just run through. Just go case management. Yes. Okay, so demonstration. So, any questions? Brendan, have we got any questions?
No questions, but I just wanted to let everyone know on the call that every order we place on the vendor VMware now are backed by a vendor quote. So in their words, a CPQ. And there's often conjecture and questions about, especially with strategic VVF or a commercial VCF sale, who does the support? So the vendor quote, the CPQ quote, will dictate that we see who is a support provider. So yeah, whenever we get questions of that nature, we have to look at the vendor quote for the answer on that. So yeah, it's important if you have a question from an end user who's doing support, is to raise that question to us, and we'll check the vendor quote, if not done, on who's the support provider for that opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for attending. I hope that's been beneficial to you all, and good support case handling.
All good. Thanks everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.